Uh, Jeannie will tell if we could catch her if she's not like invisible. Well, she can't be invisible. She hasn't had a second turn. Uh, so Victor will tell. Jeannie will tell Victor to establish contact with
Victor's already going to do that.
the other two and tell them that Florina has fled the coop to locate her.
Okay.
By magical means, and then Jeannie's going to and we heard nothing. We didn't hear anything.
You heard her speak the magic words that cast the spell.
Right, but we didn't hear her leave the room.
Didn't hear her move. That's what you're asking now.
And Jeannie is going to stay put.
Okay, we can come off initiative now.
So Victor is going to tell Evie and Jeannie that she's a witch. She ran. Get her.
Was she carrying anything?
Well, when you guys were talking to her, she was sitting at a stool having her evening meal. And the half-eaten food is still there. Fork's still sitting on the plate.
If you can identify an object that she had with her, that's the only thing I have that could track her.
Check the roads and make sure you check that no one leaves the village.
I mean, I could send my familiar out to circle the village and see if she's out there, but if she has magic, then she has a lot of ways to foil that. But yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Yeah, you send your familiar out thinking, okay, if she...
I can just cast Locate Creature.
Okay.
Oh, that solves it. If she's within, 1,000 feet? Which is a fairly big distance, actually.
That's probably the entire village and then some.
Very low. It's very possible.
I think it's more than she can move in a turn.
Because that's a third of them.
Unless you can unless you walked over a stream.
I don't see any streams on this map.
Let me... So Evie and Ekon were not in the shop with you. So figure takes a couple of minutes. You send Ekon a message psychically. Get organized, and Ekon's going to cast Locate Creature. And this is 1,000 feet. I have to do some math.
How fast does a broom fly?
She's out of the range of 1,000 feet. Then, like,
yeah, you cast Locate Creature, and you do not find her in the radius.
What? Like, come on. How is that even possible?
How indeed?
This is a fairly powerful caster. She's a YA protagonist.
Right.
Victor is going to start going through the store in the forge area trying to find out how she was making magic items, because that's what he's assuming she was doing.
Okay. Yeah, going through, I mean, she has a few meager personal effects. She has all the equipment she needs to cast pewter. She has some basic blacksmithing tools and things. But you don't find anything out of the ordinary going through the shop. You don't find any secret compartments or slide-away shelving units. There's nothing under her loft bed.
Skeletons in the forge.
Before, this is Edmont, do you mind giving me and Victor just a moment of privacy?
Certainly.
Jeannie is going to turn around, and she is legitimately going to, like she's going to turn on you and says, Victor, you have a problem. You need to get your tongue under control.
At this point,
What did he do? He says.
you hear Maxime's voice as she steps into the room. Has Florina stepped out?
Florina has fled from the law.
She's a witch.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Maxime, do you know anywhere that Florina would go if she thought she was in trouble?
So, and then I'll just outright tell her what happened. We detected magic in her forge.
Now, I want to be clear. When you say we tell her what happened, do you tell her that Victor threatened to have Evie hang her?
He didn't threaten to have Evie hang
Yes,
her.
You did.
I feel like Victor thinks he didn't. And
Right.
again, I'm not sure if it's the player doesn't think he did or if Victor doesn't.
It's on
we put
video.
him-
We have audio evidence that he said it.
We could put him under zone of truth, and he would still say he didn't do it because
But-
he just doesn't think that way.
Are you telling Maxime we came in and we threatened to hang her? Which
No.
is what Victor said. You're leaving that part out. You're telling her what happened except for that part.
Right.
Okay.
Because that was not part of the plan.
But yeah,
Victor
she's-
opens his mouth.
She's very
So-
distressed at this revelation because, I mean, Florina was instrumental to her work in this village, and this is going to now cause. It probably won't cause delays in getting the mines open and things, but it will. It's going to be a major setback.
Do you know like where she learned her magic?
She didn't know magic, as far as Maxime knows.
Well, she did, and like, where do you know anywhere like anywhere within more than 1,000 feet she could get to? She would go.
These questions are completely baffling to her.
Okay, I don't think Maxime can help us with this. This is something we have to figure out. Unless she knows someplace that Florina would go if she felt like she was in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
Like
mean, the
if she
safest
had to
place in the
run,
world
you
for
know
her would
somewhere
be her
she'd go.
shop.
so is there any magical residue in the shop?
There's not. No longer.
So
Well, the last vestiges of a darkness spell that was recently dispelled here.
right, man. Like Jeannie is legitimately just mad at Victor. Like she tells you in private that she no longer trusts you.
Don't
Like-
be mad at me. Be mad at your sister for having a reputation for hanging people.
Why do you bring it up? And she like we were here to give her a chance to come clean with no like law repercussions. Right? And then you immediately bring hanging into it. What is wrong with you? Why are you constantly threatening people?
Also, notice that he's trying to make it Evie's fault.
Evie's the one who hangs people.
Evie was the one who hanged that guy. She gave
A
the
guy
order.
who tried to murder her brother,
Yeah.
very different situation.
Hey, your spell said the hunter was woe.
Okay, see, he's still trying to do it. Victor. See, this is what happens
What did Evie
when
do?
you're in charge.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's just me and Victor. I'm like Jeannie's yelling at him.
Okay, I thought we were all there.
So Victor gets yelled at, and eventually, I mean, you guys will be back at Maxime's later this evening, so that's where you're staying. But
Huh?
Maxime is very troubled by this turn of events.
Evie is too, because we don't know what the hell's going on now. We
Nobody
blew our
saw
chance.
Florina leave the shop. Nobody saw her leave the village by any road. There's only one road.
Jeannie is going to.
You have a secret passage beneath the place.
You,
Had to be held
Victor,
before?
Victor turned over the whole place. Didn't find anything in the way of a secret passage.
Jeannie is not going to sleep in the Maxine's house. She like Jeannie's going to sleep in the room with the forge.
With Maxime?
I thought that was she was in an adjoining room.
No, they're in. There's a cramped sleeping quarters for Florina in the back of the
Right.
shop, and they're both shoved in there.
No.
Inside
I'm
the
sleeping in the front area, like
Okay.
where the store part is. Like
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
setting up a
That's a very strange thing to do, but Maxime won't gainsay you.
well, in case it comes back to the scene of the crime. Ekon, in the morning, can you think of any questions for Air so that might give us some answers?
I mean, I think if we wait till the morning, she's going to be halfway to, Barovia by then.
I mean, we have no way of tracking her, so
If she doesn't come back, is that a problem?
I think it is.
So what is your immediate plan then to try to find her before?
And we don't
Nightfall.
have any immediate magical abilities that can find her. No one in the village knows where she is or where she's going to go. We don't know where the other guy went.
I mean, did she teleport or did she run? Because
We don't know.
I mean, she couldn't have ran because we were standing in front of the door.
And even if she ran up the back, getting 1,000 feet would be impressive.
I was working on the assumption that it would take at least 3 minutes to get information to Ekon and have Ekon then cast the spell locate creature from the time in the shop to the time.
We literally psychically contacted him and immediately asked him to cast the spell.
Right, but you would have had to explain the circumstances. So
she's
Would
a witch finder.
Victor have explained the circumstances? But
Ekon wasn't in the scene, and I'm not going to let him take an action in a scene that he's not in.
Yep.
So
Do we, were they in front of the only actual exit?
as far as they know,
Is
yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so should we, first of all, search this room for any secret door
I
passages?
think
or
we
anything?
already did that.
We did.
Yeah, we already did that. So what I think is in the morning, ask her if there's if she used an object used an object that was in the building to escape.
I mean, she has magic. She doesn't necessarily need to use objects. She's clearly fairly powerful.
I mean, it's
I think
possible.
teleports. I think teleporting is probably the likely answer.
And I don't know of any way to track her if she did that.
Anybody who's trained in Arcana that's not Victor, go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Sure. That's a 25.
25?
7.
So Victor floats the idea that she teleported. She threw down this magical darkness spell and then teleported away. Thinking about it, Jeannie, you don't think you know anybody who could do that. And you know some fairly powerful spellcasters. It's not a matter of not having access to a spell that can do it. It's a matter of there wasn't enough time. She used her action to cast darkness. Ergo, she could not have used an action to teleport.
Right. That's the assumption I was already working under.
So teleportation seems very unlikely to you.
Using some abilities similar to what Edmont can do. Can she move through shadows?
Edmund has to be able to see to do that.
Yep.
Well, Victor's not sure she ran outside and teleported.
Ergo,
Okay. Is she still
Alright,
hiding here somehow? Like using
I mean,
powerful magic to conceal herself?
What's the other woman's name?
Maxine
Maxine.
is the headman of the village.
Alright, I'm just gonna try and talk to Maxine. Like, look, something terrible went down here. I'm not entirely sure what, and I'm not entirely sure why your friend fled, but I need to know everything you know about this woman. Apparently she can use at least some magic.
As far as you can tell, Maxime is being completely truthful. And she's actually very distressed. And she's starting to become afraid. And you realize that she's becoming afraid of you guys. These are a lot of questions about someone that she trusted quite a bit. And a lot of details that are coming to light that she had no idea about. And now you're explaining that something terrible is going down. Like something really bad is happening or has happened or is about to happen. So it's causing no small amount of anxiety in Maxine.
Alright, so can I approach her and see if I can... that there's some kind of ability I can use to get her to kind of calm down? Like, reassure her that we're going to fix this, whatever happened?
I mean, you can give her the assurances you want. Like you can leave here with having given her the assurances. It's not going to split her attention on her work, if that's what you mean.
I just don't want her to lose faith in us.
Okay. Make an insight check.
Okay. That's a... I'm going to use my reroll on that.
Wait, what reroll?
I have my ability that lets me do a reroll.
Okay.
I can reroll a save or a skill check.
Okay.
That's not much better, but 15.
You think that ship has sailed. She's very conflicted because on one hand, you came and solved what she thought was her biggest problem. On the other hand, apparently you or your companions did something in the village that has now created this new problem for her. But it's not her place to be upset with you about it because she's still your vassal and she has work to do. So there's a lot of conflict in this woman.
I think we should just leave her alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing we need to do with her is just watch to see if Florina returns and tries to take her with her.
Well, if I was Florina, I would never come here again.
Do you tell her that, or is that just a remark?
No, I don't say that to Maxime.
Okay.
Like, we did not know enough about the situation to jump straight to hanging.
I'm sorry, was that an option?
Apparently, Victor thought so.
No,
I mean,
Victor,
the last time this came up, I literally made sure you didn't jump straight to hanging.
all Victor said was that Evie has a reputation for hanging.
She has hanged exactly 2 people. Well, she's had hangings twice.
She has hung people for murder, which is the appropriate punishment for murder.
You kill somebody, we kill you back.
I don't know why you guys are trying to frame Evie as some kind of blood-parched psychopath for upholding the law.
Like, and like Ekon signed off on the hangings too. So like,
All right, so what are we going to do about this situation?
I don't think there's anything we can do today.
I don't think there's much we can do about it.
Jeannie, can you look over everything in this forge and see what, if anything, is magical? Like, can be used to build magic?
Nothing. Victor and Jeannie have gone over the whole place.
Okay.
Yep.
Victor especially was looking for secret compartments. Jeannie was thinking there was the entrance to a secret tunnel, but neither of those things have manifested.
Yep.
It wasn't the forge, it was the forger.
The only thing I can think of is besieging Air one more time and asking him if whatever she used to escape is still in the village. And then maybe if the answer to that is yes, we could use that question to narrow down our search and go after her.
Victor's opinion is to just watch Maxine, especially at night.
I don't think she had anything to do with it.
No, it's
Yeah.
not her, though. It's to see if Florina returns to try and talk to her, take her, or rescue her or something.
So Florina doesn't return that night, and the next morning the trail is going to be colder still.
Like, well, we literally don't have anything. Victor screwed the pooch on this one, like, super hard. This is, Jeannie is of the mind, this is 100% Victor's fault.
Does she have like a throbbing purple vein? No, she doesn't. She doesn't have any blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
She has some kind of fluid.
It's throbbing like green or some shit.
and then she's going, and she points at Victor and says, "You're out of the Not-Narc-Squad."
So now it's just Jeannie and Edmont.
Victor is a narc. 100%. He narked that.
All right, Victor,
That was 100% what we were hoping not to happen.
go ahead and
think
erase Rogue from your character sheet and write Narc.
That's going to be your reputation for this level. Narc.
Totally a Narc.
No, it's going to be a spreader of Evie's greatness.
No, it's going to be narc.
So there's a lot of whisperings throughout the village the next day. Because Florina was very well liked. Everybody knew her. She was very pleasant. She was beautiful. And now she's not here anymore. And there are going to be whispers in this village for a long time that the Duchess and her party came to the village and then the blacksmith vanished.
We can start new rumors that the blacksmith was a witch.
Victor, no. Like,
You guys all just worked really, really hard to make sure these villagers knew there were no curses or black magic at work here.
yes.
Anything else that needs to be done here in Barazar?
I guess if we're done. Like, if...
Yeah, if we're
I mean,
done.
I don't have any possible way to track this woman down.
Right. We legitimately have no way to track her down. Like, she just vanished in absolutely no way that any of us can comprehend. And unless Ekon can think of like questions for error that will help us track him down.
Well, we have some lead because it had to have been an ability that she doesn't have to use. It wasn't a spell. It was some other kind of ability. So if we could... I'm just trying to think, is there any way we can narrow that down?
So I'm running Ekon cast locate creature every day.
I mean, like 1,000 feet is she moved like so. If she were dashing every round, it would take her. I don't know something. It would take her over like 30 rounds, I think, to get that far.
That's 3 minutes.
So.
So are we
I
going
guess it
to
was.
commune with air before leaving Barazar?
I mean, it's a free
Okay.
spell.
Okay.
Give me a second to think.
Sure.
So the spell has a 1 minute duration, so I have a little bit of time to talk to other people as I'm getting these answers and get some feedback.
That's fine.
What was the blacksmith's name? I didn't have that in my notes either.
Florina.
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 All right. Lord Air, is Florina within 1 day's travel of the village at our current ability to travel?
The meaning here being either like on foot or on horseback.
Yeah, like for us. It's 1 day travel for us.
Yes.
She hasn't gone far.
Lord Air, will she return to this village of her own violation within the next year?
You're going to get an unclear answer on that because that's speaking to a future
Yeah.
event of a free
Yeah.
agent.
Non-omniscient deities, I get it. Lord Air, is there anyone within the village who knows Florina's location?
Sometimes.
Alright, so there's someone who comes and goes from this village who knows where she's hiding out, and it's not far away. And
Well,
she hasn't left forever, because I'm pretty sure Air would have, if her thought was get the hell out of Darkon, I'm pretty sure Air would have been able to see such a clear and decisive course of action in the future.
Jeannie is going to go speak to the hunter man who, the thing, you
Sure.
know. Where
You're going to be in the village until nightfall again because he'll be out
Huh.
working through that when he returns to the village tonight to take his meal and take his rest. So that's going to plus 1 day in the village. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yeah, you can speak with Jacopo.
where is the where do the hunters? Is there are there any hunter lodges or anything like that out in the woods?
No, nothing like a lodge. Hunters are very superstitious folk, so each one kind of has his or her own, like stomping grounds in the woods that they understand, that they know very well. Little bolt holes that they keep, or particular animals that they look for. So you'll get very specific knowledge about specific areas of the wood, depending on who you ask. So Jacopo, he has his own font of knowledge to that end, and then he has like some vague ideas about some of the other hunters, where they might go, what they might do.
I'll describe the hunter that Victor saw
Okay.
and ask him if he knows the man.
I believe his name is Grigori.
Do you know what area of the woods Grigori is?
He thinks about it. He kind of... Now that you mention it, I don't believe I've ever seen him at work. I can't recall ever passing him on the road to or from the village either. That's strange, isn't it?
It is.
He's still somewhere in the village. No, we used magic to determine that he wasn't. He's in he's like freaking like some liminal space where he's not anywhere.
Well, we didn't really use magic. 'Cause I don't think we did look at creature on him. We did look at creature on Florina.
In any case, nobody's seen him in the village for a couple of days. This would not be uncommon, though.
Well, for a hunter, no.
Plus, Grigori was our quarry's alter ego.
Is Grigori within 1,000 feet of where you're standing, Ekon?
Have I met him before? I
Does
need to be familiar with the subject.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't just say he's a hunter that Victor saw.
Let me see exactly what familiarity requires.
I would say at the very you would have had to have either met them or, well, the spell might specify.
I can describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. So yeah, it's up to you on what familiarity means.
Like, is the description enough, or is the question?
For this sort of man, I would say you probably would have had to have met him or know him by reputation. Neither of which is true for this nondescript hunter.
Can you cast Scry? Is that a spell you have?
If you have 1,000 gold
I don't think we do.
and a lock of his hair,
No, we don't have that.
like that's literally been what's keeping me from scry. I could scry the blacksmith if we had 1,000. If we had a 1,000 gold piece font.
She got like a hairbrush in town.
Like, when you say font, what is the, like, what do you mean by font? Do you mean like
A large pool of consecrated water for me to view the image in.
I mean, there's a.
So, Brick Road, I have a dumb question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have this thing in my bag. Would that stupid basin we found in that ice cavern be of enough monetary value for Edmont to use, for Ekon to use as a font?
For the scry spell?
Yes.
You guys are putting all the interesting questions to me.
I had
a focus worth at least 1,000 gold. Okay. I would say yes, but remember the font itself is a magical item.
Right,
which
yeah.
might interact with the spell in unknown ways.
I mean, we can try if Ekon wants to try.
Let's do it.
I've got some holy water. Again, a strand of her hair would make this much easier.
We have her
I'll
house.
say you could
She's
find
got
a strand
something
of her
in there.
hair. Her
Yeah.
clothes and things are there. She didn't take any of her possessions with her.
Yeah, Evie will like find her hairbrush or something.
Now, are you telling anybody you're doing this?
No, we're just gonna lock ourselves up into the mayor's or into what's her name's house and just do it, aren't we?
Okay.
Sure.
This is the only lead we have.
And like making sure all the windows are closed shut.
Alright, so if I have a bit of hair, she gets a -10 to this wisdom save, which is made at a DC of 17.
Okay. Minus.
You should probably look at all the details of the spell, because if she's a spellcaster, she will have some recourse.
I
and this takes 10.
had given some thought to how much work you would use to track this woman down.
Okay.
You should know that we would go beyond what you were expecting.
This is a domain spell for me, so I've always got it, so may as well use it.
Okay. The wrench in the work here is you're using this magical font.
It really wants to control divination, yeah. There's very strong opinions on what it shows people.
Okay, it can fail the saving throw voluntarily if it knows you're casting. She would not know you're casting. I'm looking for, well, I'm not going to get a 17 with a -10. That's not going to happen. Okay. What time of day are you
for 10
casting the
minutes,
spell?
I can look through this sensor.
I mean, that morning would be the.
Yeah, I think as soon as we, yeah, I think as soon as Jeannie brings up that she has the dish that you cast it.
Well, this is this after you've spoken to Jacopo, because that was a full day.
Oh, I guess
Oh,
we'll
right.
do like
This would be the
immediately
second day
after that.
after.
So that would be night. Yeah,
Yeah.
that night.
So you're doing it at
Okay.
night.
Yeah.
Okay.
guess.
And this is using the basin that you took from the ice dungeon.
Yeah.
And you get 10 minutes of scrying, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's at night. And the scrying sensor blinks into existence around a campfire. Around the campfire are maybe a half dozen figures, including Florina. All of them are wearing bright, gilded armor. Draped on their shoulders are beautiful cloaks stitched together with black feathers. And each one is armed with a a weapon of great impressive make, a great sword or an axe or a warhammer. Florina herself is fletching a pile of arrows, sitting near to the fire. No one seems to be aware that the scrying is in place. Can you hear through this sensor as well?
Yes, see in here.
When they speak to each other, they speak using very flowery, almost archaic language. And what's your passive insight?
My passive insight is, I believe, wrong tab. There we go. Passive insight is 19.
19. When they begin speaking to each other in this flowery, archaic language, it's difficult to parse, difficult to follow. You realize the scrying spell is being interfered with. You're not seeing the literal scene. You're seeing an idealized version, the best possible version of the scene in the mind of your target. Instead of seeing the reality of where she is, you're seeing the reality of what she hopes or wishes could be. And they're taking their evening meal over this spit, this collection of people wearing black feathered cloaks, wearing gilded armor, each armed with fantastical weapons. And at about the 9-minute mark or so, a bird lands near to the fire pit. A black raven. And it hops back and forth, looks around, and then immediately its form melts and grows outward in a transformation not unlike that you've seen in your brother. And where the raven stood is instead a tall, bearded man wearing gilded plate and a black feather cloak with a great sword slung across his back. And he greets the others, and as they sit down to take their meal together, that's the end of the scrying spell. You watch the scene for about 10 minutes.
Was there any, was the conversation, did it drop any, was there anything interesting that they talked about, or?
It was difficult to follow because they were speaking this archaic form of Darkanese. So it's just a concentration spell after I've cast it? I could ask one of my compatriots to cast Comprehend Languages on me. Okay.
Everyone here can do that.
Is Comprehend Language a spell you can cast on other people?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Hold on.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
no.
self only. It's not concentration though.
Okay. Well, in the future, I will cast that or tongues before I do this.
What you can glean from the conversation is some of the discussion is about Evie in particular and whether or not she bears danger to them.
Thanks, Victor.
Florina is of the opinion that she is.
Happy to help.
So there was a very bizarre scene.
Yeah, the this is not the ideal tool for this spell. It definitely was interfering with the miracle.
I mean,
It worked. No, good call. It
needs
worked.
must.
So do you have any idea where they are?
I mean, I can
They were in the
describe
woods
the
somewhere.
campsite, but I don't think we're going to get any tracks if they can all turn into ravens and fly.
Okay, so that's got to be what she
What?
did then. That's got to be how she got away.
They can what?
I described the whole scene to you. There was a person there was a raven that landed at the edge of the camp, turned into a human with that raven cloak, raven feather cloak. So I'm assuming they're all wearing those cloaks. They can all turn into ravens and fly. They're were-ravens. I don't know where. I'm sorry.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Edmont looks very, like, wistful now.
Edmund, I'm sorry you just got the wolf.
I'm just as angry with you as Jeannie is right now, Victor. So please
Like,
choose your words carefully.
for real, you're out of the not narc group.
So that's the end of the second night.
Okay, so the only thing that I could think of is a sending spell and see if we can get her to arrange a meeting. Like she's interested. We know she's interested in me. She may think that it may be that she wants to meet with me so that she can kill me.
I mean, I think a parlay and an offer of parlay and neutral ground seems reasonable to me. Were any of the faces of the people or anyone I've recognized who's come in or out of the village since I've been here?
No, not offhand. Florina's face you recognized pretty well, and she was even more
Yeah.
beautiful in the vision than she was in life.
Of course she was.
I feel like everything we do to this, in regards to this one, makes her more of a YA protagonist. Like I
God,
shit
am
you
I
not,
the
you
leader
just-
of the dystopian future world that she's trying to rebel against? Is that where I've landed? Is that where I am in my career?
Evie is the Hunger Games.
I feel like I lost my way somehow.
No, Florina's not a YA protagonist. She has a personality.
But yeah, I can cast sending the next morning if you want, Evie. Give me 25 words and we'll see if she responds.
Ugh.
You can respond to this message.
The Duchess Veritas requests parley. Name a location.
Are you sure that you want
And
to
time.
go out?
Yeah, location and time. What?
Maybe it's better just to have Ekon. And, like,
Well, no, yeah, I'm the one that cast sending.
yeah, I'm not sure if he's gonna want to talk to Evie at the moment.
What do you want me to say?
Just offer guarantee a guarantee of peace on the house's name, a guarantee of no
violence will come to anyone at this meeting
right,
unless you bring it yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
that's pretty good.
and then other than that, we just want to talk.
Yeah.
essentially.
I mean, that's it. I want to talk. That's the honest truth.
Okay, so the next morning you
so yeah.
cast sending,
How's the spell? Yep.
and there's no response.
I don't really blame her.
Okay. Let's bother Air one more time.
I don't think Eric's going to be able to help us with this. I mean, she didn't go that far, but we don't have any way in the world to figure out where she is. My suspicion is that if they mean us harm, they will try to kill us on the road.
It's
Well,
within 1 day's travel from here. I could maybe try and narrow that down a bit, but
Yeah.
we can ask the hunters where the most common spots to camp or where the best spots to stay would be.
I have a feeling these people are going to be staying away from those places.
I mean,
well, there's
every hunter in the village is going to have different answers, different camping spots that they prefer, favorite spots out there. So yeah, there's no shortage of good
Also-
places to set up camp.
if you could fly, you might find a camp spot that other people can't.
It's true.
It
It's
might be
enough
very
for-
inconvenient to take a horse or to walk to.
One of the questions I want you to ask Air is, will we be attacked by them in the near future?
So real fast. While you guys are doing this, Victor is going to send a familiar out to just start flying around within a day's travel or so.
Well, like like, why don't we use one of the is she like a direction? Pick a direction. Like, is she
That only narrows it down so much.
right? But now he's not circling around because we could literally cover.
I'll
Like,
simplify this. You guys spend the day setting your familiars out in all 4 directions and don't find anything.
Okay.
It's
And did that?
it's just
The-
way,
we
it's just
beat
way
this
too
is what
much
I'm hearing.
territory, and it goes in way too many directions. You need
Like-
the chance of just finding somebody who doesn't want to be found in this wood is very remote.
We beefed this, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I could scry them again and at least see if they're moving, or if they're staying to that same location, and then we can try and track that location down. If they're moving, I don't have any solutions. Like, I have no ideas.
Right. There's just whatever. Just send her another message and saying, like, sending one more time and be like, we're leaving. Just let her know we're leaving the village. That she is like that nobody was going to hang her. That Victor has a don't. Like, that's just
We don't know
that's
that.
just Genie. Genie's projecting.
If she turned out to be evil and planned to kill the village, I'm pretty sure Evie would hang her.
Right.
If she's evil, yeah. We don't know that.
So is our business in Barazar concluded now, or are we at the end of things we want to try?
I mean,
Yeah, I think we've
like-
exhausted everything we can. Honestly, we're gilding the lily at this. Well, can't really say gilding the lily because there's no lily to gild at the moment.
Right. Just send her a message saying we know that you're that you can turn into a bird.
No, we don't need to give that kind of information away.
Like, if that is what you were hiding, there is absolutely no reason you cannot come back to the village.
You guys, you can't, just because you have information doesn't mean you need to tell people that you have that information.
Victor ran a woman out of her house with no information. So
That's the second time you guys did that this campaign.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
I mean, whatever. It's like, I just want you to. Whatever. It's whatever. I wash my hands of the whole thing. It's just.
He's so mad.
I am very angry about this.
Oh.
Okay, what I need to know
and I'm
is,
trying
are
not
these
to be.
if we leave the village, are they going to try to kill us because we have Tenny with us? We need to think about that.
It's not us we need to worry about. It's them coming back to the village and doing something.
I mean, again, I asked Air if something would happen in the next year, and he can't tell. It's again, gods are not omniscient, especially in strange worlds like this.
So is that it? Are we done in Barazar?
I don't think we have any moves left.
Is anybody trained in both perception and animal handling?
Animal handling, but not perception.
I'm looking for somebody that's got both.
No, I mean, I could be if I knew if I knew it was going to come up. I could be, but
I'll let you spend that resource if you want
yeah,
to.
I can cast a spell to become proficient in animal handling for an hour.
Oh, fully for an hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can
Make me a
how long-
perception check at disadvantage.
Okay. They 14.
And can I give him the +5 on that? You give
Plus
it-
5
is
from
it
what? From Flash of
For
Genius?
Flash of Genius, yeah. I'm asking permission.
I mean, again, I'd need to know that I, need to become proficient in animal handling to actually cast the spell, but I do have prepared.
When you finally are leaving Barazar, and the company is in poor spirits, except Tenny. Tenny seems to have very much enjoyed the visit to the village, and is excited to travel along the road, because next stop is apparently a lake village. She has not been to a lake, I guess technically since you left Brennanine. But no, Ekon, leaving the village, you're thinking that, all right, so we have some evidence that these people are transforming into a bird. We think that's how she got away from them in the first place. So, like, on a lark, you use your miracle to grant yourself animal handling skill. to learn something about the mannerisms of these birds. And as you're traveling, once or twice over the course of the hour, you spot birds in flight. You identify them as ravens. You're pretty sure of that. However, you can't think if it's... You can't shake this feeling that, are there always ravens flying overhead? And I'm just noticing them now because we've had this experience? Or have they started following us? Are we being watched?
Paranoia. Gotta love it.
Not paranoid if they're actually out for you.
I'm out to get you.
And after an hour or so, as your spell wears off and you no longer have the proficiency with the skill, from that point on, you don't notice them anymore in the sky.
Oh, like if he points them out, like how high in the sky are they?
They're birds,
Like-
bird height.
Well, I mean, do they ever at any point, like, does he ever see any, like, I don't know, within
He wouldn't
90
have seen
feet
them
of
at
him?
all if he hadn't used this spell.
Right. What I'm saying is, he ever notice any?
What do you want to do,
below-
Treble?
I want to. Never mind.
What do you want to do?
If they get close enough, could I try and snatch one out of the sky with a vortex warp? If they're
Yeah,
that
I'll
close.
let Ekon point one out so you can vortex warp him.
Yeah. If one of the ravens.
And do they get?
Genie,
Does the target get a save against that?
Yeah, it's a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, I need to look for Raven's stat block. I can't imagine they're great at Constitution saves. Ooh, not with that roll. No, the Ravens are in the player's handbook. That's handy. That changes the experience a little bit. Ekon.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, on a lark, you give yourself the ability, and you do notice one or two ravens, and you're thinking in your mind, like, are they watching us? Are they always there? And I'm just noticing now. You point them out to your family to get their opinion, and Genie vortex warps one. So what happens when you vortex warp it?
I can put it anywhere within a certain range of me, and I put it on the ground in front of us.
Okay.
Can't we catch it before it flies away?
Like,
It's not.
I
It
would-
doesn't have a condition. It's not like stunned or anything, is it?
no, it's not stunned, but like
It's just a teleport.
it's just a teleport.
Okay.
It's gonna be
probably
just right
could
here.
use.
But like I would like say get ready to catch it.
I would let one of you make me an animal handling, dexterity animal handling check.
That's going to be Edmont.
Well, Ekon is skilled in this for the next few
Yeah, but
minutes.
my dex is not nearly as good as Edmont. I won't get in his way if this is his thing.
But I'm only going to allow one of you to make this, because two people trying to go for the bird at the same time are just going to conk heads.
Gonna bonk heads.
I can,
Yeah.
So I don't have an animal handling. I got a +4 dex to my psionic die.
Hey, so is it Victor doing it, or is it Edmont doing
Yeah,
it?
I'm gonna take Victor catch and throw a bird at him, essentially.
What?
Oh,
you want to do it?
Victor, go ahead.
Yeah!
Dexterity animal handling.
Okay, yeah, catch.
Yeah, if anyone wants to do it instead of me, he can.
I'm dead. You killed me.
What?
Oh God. Okay. So that one turns into a 9.
Plus 5, 14. Is that enough?
To catch a bird.
Like,
Why didn't you let me go?
So yeah, Edmund, you're holding this raven in your hand. I mean, you're clutching it. I'm assuming, like, strongly enough that it's not going to flap free, which it's violently trying to do. It's trying to squiggle free out of your grasp, but not so much because it's a tiny bird. It's very delicate. I'm assuming you don't want to injure the thing. Am I correct in that?
No,
assumption?
I do not. No, I do not.
Yeah, and the thing is extremely.
Does anyone have a
Distressed.
cage? I'm still not sure what's going on here.
Speak with animals would be great right now,
Yeah,
but I
not-
don't think Tenny has that yet.
Tenny, this all happened in the span of a couple of moments, and Tenny was not paying a lot of attention to what you guys were doing. When she sees what's going on, you see this just look of horror strike her face. And Edmont, she gives you a look. She doesn't say anything, but her eyes say, "What are you doing to that poor bird?"
Wait, can ravens speak a language?
I don't
No.
think so. They are animals.
Right.
You know what? Victor is still going to try to establish a psionic communication on the off chance that maybe there's a person inside.
Or an intelligent raven.
That's for
I mean, does it need to
communication,
be-
isn't it?
Communication, yeah.
Okay, because it can't really communicate. It's an animal.
Oh, okay.
So
It's
when
just
you
an animal.
when you attempt to, it just fails. Was that like is the failure what you were looking for?
The hope was that it was a person transformed into a raven.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. Yeah, no. When you try to establish a psychic connection, you feel its tiny raven brain in there, but it's just a bird brain. And right now, it's flapping like crazy. It desperately
and
wants.
not releases it.
And when you release it, and it hits the ground, finds its feet, and immediately takes flight and
I
zips
think
off.
it was just a bird.
Oh well,
Just a bird.
just a bird.
Ekon, was it just a bird?
I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes a bird is just a bird.
What do you?
That's
What do you tell Tenny the explanation for that was when she asks?
Oh, I mean, Jeannie will just tell her the thing. Oh yeah, there's people in the woods that can turn into ravens, and we were concerned that they
Was
were
that one
following
of
us.
them?
No, it was just a bird.
How do you know?
And I'll tell her. Victor tried to establish the brain thing he can do to them, and it was just a bird.
Are you just going to grab every bird out of the sky that we see from now on?
just ravens.
There's a lot of ravens in Ravenloft.
That's a joke, Tenny. No, we're not just going to grab every bird, but we wanted to see if that one was more than just a bird. Actually, is it still? How close is it right now?
You can vortex warp it again.
Was there time for me to do a detect magic to see if it had an animal messenger or any similar magic on it?
Probably not, because they all happen in the span of just a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edmont let it go as soon as Victor kind of gave him the all clear.
Whatever.
And from that point on, for the duration, at least for the next day or so, none of you could swear that you see a single raven in the sky.
I feel like we should stop and check the village on the way back.
It is a 4-day journey from Barazar to the third of the 3 villages that have just always been there. Lake Roduf. And this is the coldest welcome you've had at the 3. Once again, there's only one road leading into the village. But it's not heavily forested terrain. Rolling plains, and this river that you're also following. So this road runs west along the southern bank of this stream. The lake itself you can actually see from fairly far off as you're coming down in elevation to meet it. And the most distinguishing feature of it, especially in the morning as you break camp, is the roiling walls of fog over the lake. In Brennanine, at certain times in the morning, you could look out over the lake and see for miles on a clear day. You get the sense that nobody has seen for miles across this lake in many, many years. The village proper has a wooden palisade forming up around it. The gates, as you're coming in, you can tell are closed, and poised outside of the gate in a gnarly looking iron gibbet is either a dying man or a corpse. You can't tell.
Well, that's a little distressing.
This bodes well.
Just hanging, I don't know, 10 or so feet up off the ground in this iron gibbet.
Well, I gotta check him out if he can.
He's a
Oh.
criminal. Leave him alone.
Well,
Evie. We don't know what they did, so
that's true, but we could ask.
Well, while you're
Converse-
thinking about what to do with this
conversely-
gibbet, why don't we go ahead and take a 15-minute break here, and when we come back, we'll see what Edmont's idea is about the gibbet.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get your coffee, get your bagel. We'll reconvene in about 15 minutes. That will be about 4:25.